The film begins by telling the story of a young man named Top. He is an average student who struggles with his studies but has a deep obsession with computer games. He and his friends often sneak in gaming sessions even during school hours. Over time, he starts earning real money from gaming and begins to indulge himself with it. One day, he secretly takes an old credit card from the family's butler and connects it to his gaming account. After winning a huge cash prize, he decides to spend it recklessly on a shiny new car for himself. When he brings the car to school, he's called into the teacher's office. His teacher wants to call his parents, but Top says that instead of doing that, they can just deduct his merit points. The teacher replies that he doesn't even have enough merit points left to deduct. Refusing to back down, Top offers to pay for a new neon school sign, but the teacher scolds him, saying he can't bribe the school. Frustrated, the teacher tells him that he should be more like his siblings, graduate properly, and become a respectable person. The teacher adds that he's worried about how Top will survive in the future, then lets him go after more scolding. When Top walks out, all the students are gathered around his car in awe. He ignores them and drives off with his girlfriend to grab some food, cruising around town in his new car. That night, he comes home very late, parks the car outside, and asks the butler to put it in the garage. However, the butler doesn't know how to handle the car and accidentally sets off the alarm, startling Top. When he enters the house, his parents are already waiting for him near the stairs. His father scolds him for coming home so late and for buying a car. He warns that if Top keeps wasting money like that, their family will soon go bankrupt. Top argues that it's his own money, earned from online gaming. But his father says he needs to start studying seriously or be ready to face the consequences, then walks away. His mother gently tells him that they just want him to focus on his studies and not cause them worry, then leaves as well. Top's gaming addiction continues for years. When the time comes for university, he fails to get accepted into most public universities. Still not taking things seriously, he goes out to buy a PlayStation and a DVD player so he can keep playing games. When he returns home, his parents are waiting. They ask about his university admission, and Top claims he got accepted into a private university that isn't too expensive. His father insists he should attend a community college instead since he won't take studying seriously and they won't waste money on him. Top responds that he has his own money and will pay his own tuition. His mother follows his father, trying to convince him to let Top go to the private university. While his parents argue, Top goes to his room to play games, only to discover that his account has been deleted. Angry, he goes back to the electronics store and buys a bunch of discounted DVDs. When he gets home and tries to show his new DVD players to his parents, one breaks before he even manages to sell or use it. The shopkeeper tells him the DVDs have no warranty or exchange policy. That's why they were so cheap, and that Top should have known that since it's common knowledge. He tells Top to throw them away. In his anger, Top smashes a glass table in the shop, and the shopkeeper slaps him. He runs away before getting beaten further. On his way home, he offers his father a ride. His father tells him that doing business is not that simple, that's just how life works. He gives Top some money so he can study wherever he wants, but when Top arrogantly says he's not one of his employees, his father takes the money back. Top secretly takes his father's amulet from home, pawns it at a shop, and gets $100,000 in return. He brings that money to school. But even there, he remains unserious and keeps skipping classes. One day, he goes to the auditorium and sees his girlfriend and her group practicing for a drama performance. After the rehearsal, she comes to talk to him but refuses to go out with him, saying she has another class and more rehearsals later. Top then visits a market where various machines are being sold, along with free food samples made by those machines. He becomes interested when he hears a salesman explaining the features of a chestnut roasting machine. The man says it's the first of its kind in the country, imported from Japan. Top, excited by the idea of being the first to own one, buys it even though it's expensive, thinking it will bring him great success. When he gets home, his father gets angry and tells him he could have bought the same machine for much cheaper at a weekend market. However, it turns out that Top has only rented it for one day. The next day after school, he visits an old man who sells roasted chestnuts and asks him about the process and techniques. He continues researching and learning from different people before trying it himself at home. When he finishes his first batch, he lets the butler taste it first, then his mother. She says it's delicious. Later, while his father is in a meeting with a friend, they keep eating the chestnuts. His father's friend asks where he got them because they taste so good, and his father proudly says that Top roasted them himself. The friend compliments Top, saying he's hardworking. Top then rents a small spot in a shopping mall to sell roasted chestnuts. Many other food stalls surround the area. He and the butler, Piak, work together on the first day. Top wonders why they sell so little. The old man explains that he can't shout as loudly as the other vendors because he's not as energetic anymore. Top says they have to attract customers with loud voices and hand gestures. They do so, and this time, they manage to draw in a crowd. One day at the clothing market, Top meets his girlfriend. When she tells him she doesn't get paid for her acting work, he gets upset, saying that's unfair. While they talk, he receives a call from Piak, who tells him that sales are bad that day and all other stalls are packed. When Top returns, his girlfriend becomes suspicious and asks who called him. He says it was just Piak and tells her not to worry. Seeing people receive donations gives Top an idea. He goes back to the mall and asks to move his stall to a better location, but the manager refuses. They tell him that if he leaves, he won't get a refund, as stated in the contract. The manager adds that at the end of the month, a prime location will be available, but if Top wants it, he has to sign the new contract right now. During an exam, Top's phone keeps ringing in his bag. At first, he ignores it, but after a while, he stands up and takes out his phone. His teacher warns that if he answers it, she'll report him for cheating. After a moment of thought, he grabs his bag and walks out of class. Upon answering the call, he rushes to the mall with a bag full of chestnuts, thrilled to see a long line of customers at his stall. He tells the old man they should open more branches, but the man tells him to slow down. Top ignores the advice and opens a new branch anyway. At the new branch, his girlfriend shows up and breaks up with him, saying she no longer knows who he really is. Someone else told her about his business, and she's worried about his future. Top calls the friend who told her, and the friend explains that she thought Top was cheating on her, so he had to tell her the truth. Later, the mall manager tells Top that the smoke from his stall is staining the ceiling and, unless he fixes it, his contract will be terminated. Top promises to handle it. With Piak's help, he paints the ceiling himself at night so as not to disturb customers. His mother helps him too, but just as they're about to finish, security arrives and orders them to leave because their time is up. Top asks for more time, but they refuse. He tries to bribe the guard with some money, but the guard returns it and tells his mother to discipline her son. They leave with all their belongings. His mother tells him that he needs to apply for a passport tomorrow because they're moving to China for the sake of his siblings. The family is deep in debt. Top becomes furious, realizing he never knew about the debt. He demands to know how much they owe, insisting that his chestnut business is doing well and that he can help pay off the family's debt. His mother kept crying and begged him to come with them so they could at least stay together. While he was having his passport photo taken, he suddenly walked out and told his parents that he would stay and continue studying. He told his father that he was ready to be his employee so his father could pay him to study. His parents eventually left for China without him. At the airport, his father advised him to give up the chestnut business and focus on school. The next morning, he returned to the mall to finish painting the ceiling, but the manager told him that they could no longer let him keep his stall and that he had to remove all his things. While lying at home, he saw a few women reading something posted on his door. When he went out to check, he was disappointed to see that it was a bankruptcy notice from the court. He took the paper and threw it in the trash. While walking through the market, he met his girlfriend. He immediately hugged her and began to cry. She told him that he should give up the chestnut business, focus on his studies, and that she would help him. He agreed. They sat in the car and ate fried seaweed that she had brought from home. From that moment, he got the idea to try starting a seaweed business as his next venture. He went to the bank to apply for a loan. At first, the officer said he couldn't get one because there were already too many applications. But after he begged for a chance to tell his story, the bank manager said he would only have one chance to convince him. Top then told the man his entire story, even showing the scar he got while trying to fry seaweed. He explained that he had bought a large amount of seaweed before, but it all went stale. Then, he went to a food and nutrition university to seek advice and learned about useful techniques such as vacuum packaging to prevent spoilage. After returning from the bank, he bought a lot of seaweed and, together with his uncle Piak, began experimenting with different frying methods to achieve the best result. They kept testing again and again. Piak said they needed to buy more seaweed because it still wasn't perfect. Top promised to buy more, even selling his computer and old gadgets to afford it. Piak began to lose hope and wanted to quit since they had already spent so much money, but Top told him they couldn't give up. Once they succeeded, they would make the money back in no time. At that moment, his girlfriend called to remind him that it was the last day of college registration. He rushed to campus and managed to register just in time. That night, while it was raining, he brought home boxes of seaweed. He called Piak to fry more, but there was no answer. When he went to check, he found Piak unconscious and bleeding from the head. Top quickly took him to the hospital and anxiously waited in the corridor. Fortunately, Piak survived and would be discharged in a few days. When Piak woke up, Top asked him to check the latest batch of fried seaweed, and this time, it turned out great. They could finally sell it. They restarted their business, and the seaweed sales went surprisingly well. His mother called to wish him a happy birthday, and then his father spoke, telling him to study hard so he could come to China next semester. His father said he had already bought the plane tickets and would send them to him. But Top insisted that his father tell him the truth about their debt. At first, his father hesitated but finally admitted that they still owed $40 million. Top was shocked. When he returned home, he found another notice on his door. He didn't know what to do and wandered aimlessly around the neighborhood, listening to motivational talks on the radio, but nothing helped. Eventually, he heard about a company called 7-Eleven that buys and distributes products across the country. He went there with his seaweed and waited for his name to be called. He even practiced his speech in the bathroom but forgot to leave his name at the reception. When the director arrived, she told him that she had to attend a meeting in 10 minutes, so Top only had a short time to present his product. Unfortunately, the director didn't like it, saying it had several flaws and was too expensive. But before leaving, she advised him that most successful products start in small local markets before expanding to big cities. When Top got home, his girlfriend was waiting for him. She asked why he never told her anything and said she would help him with whatever he needed. But Top got angry and argued with her. He left her standing outside and locked the door. Later, he cried beside his uncle, regretting that he had yelled at his girlfriend, who only wanted to help. Piak comforted him, saying everything would be fine soon. The next morning, Top redesigned his product packaging and went back to the 7-Eleven office. However, even after waiting the entire day, he couldn't meet the director. Feeling hopeless, he gave all his seaweed to the security guard. Sitting at the bus stop, he called his mother and told her that nothing was working. His product kept getting rejected. But unexpectedly, the seaweed he had left behind at the 7-Eleven office was tried by the employees, and they all loved it. He was soon called back by the company and was thrilled to hear that his product had been approved. They told him he would have to deliver it to 3,000 branches. The director explained that his product could only be distributed after passing a GMP inspection. To fulfill such a large order, he needed a lot of money. However, the bank once again refused to give him a loan because he was too young. He sold his car to get some money but still didn't have enough to buy all the supplies. He grew worried, but Piak encouraged him not to lose hope. No one knows what the future holds. They rented a small shop and prepared it for the GMP inspection. His uncle suggested bribing the inspectors, but Top refused, wanting to do everything honestly. The inspection team found some cleanliness issues but didn't make an immediate decision. After fixing everything, they later received a fax stating that their factory had passed the inspection. When they finally made their first big delivery, Top felt extremely anxious. They were already an hour late, and he feared the deal might be cancelled. He rushed into the warehouse, pleading with the staff to still accept the shipment. After some hesitation, they eventually agreed, allowing him to unload the goods. Watching his products being stocked on the shelves for the first time filled Top with an overwhelming mix of relief and pride. It was the beginning of something far greater than he had ever imagined. 2 years later, Top had completely paid off all his parents' debts and was once again living with them in their old home. His seaweed business had grown rapidly, expanding across the country and even reaching international markets. From a struggling gamer who once wasted his potential, Top had transformed into a visionary entrepreneur, one of the youngest billionaires in the world, admired not only for his success but also for his perseverance and resilience. And with that, the story ends here.